Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we'll be going over a problem in percents. This problem was taken from the 2020 AMC 8, problem number 8. 3/4 of a pitcher is filled with pineapple juice. The pitcher is emptied by pouring an equal amount of juice into each of 5 cups. What percent of the total capacity of the pitcher did each cup receive? For those of you who would like to solve the problem on your own, please pause the video in the next 5 seconds. Alright, let's begin to solve the problem now. So we're starting off with a pitcher filled 3/4 of the way up with pineapple juice. And we want to know how much juice would be in 5 cups if we spread it out equally. And we don't really want to know how much juice is in the cups, we want to know what percent of the total capacity of this original pitcher is in the cups. So first of all, we need to know what percent of this pitcher is full. And we're working with fractions right now. How do we get from a fraction to a percent? To get from a fraction to a percent, what we have to do is compute the division that the fraction represents. What does that mean? Well, 3/4 is essentially 3 divided by 4. We write it as 3/4 because we don't want to work with decimals. However, in this case, when we want to get to a percent, we need to work with decimals. And so we need to compute 3 divided by 4. So if we want to compute 3 divided by 4, some of you may already know that it's 0.75. But for those of you who'd like to do the long division, you could do it easily. 0, 30, so 28. 30 minus 28 is 2, add another 0, 5, 20, 0. Okay, so we know that 3 divided by 4 is equal to 0.75. But that's not a percent, it's a decimal. So how do we get to a percent from this decimal? So what we have to do is we have to multiply this 0.75 by 100. Always. When you're converting from a decimal to a percent, all you have to do is multiply by 100. Why do you need to do that? Because of the word percent. Percent, if you split it up, is saying per cent. Cent means it's a prefix, meaning 100. And it's just saying how many 100% is 1. 100% is equal to 1. So if we have a decimal, 0.75, we just have to multiply everything by 100 to essentially make sure that it's equal. We're saying percent of the whole. This is 75% of 1, and 0.75 is 75% of 1. So we know that this pitcher is now 75% full. And we want to divide that 75% among 5 cups. This might be a little trickier if the cups we wanted to know how much of the cups were full. But we don't. We want to know how much of this cup, this pitcher, is in each of these little cups. So all we essentially need to do is divide the 75% into 5 cups. So 75% divided by 5 is equal to 15%. So each of these cups has 15% of this original pitcher here in them. And it makes sense because all you have to do is add up all the 15%, 15% plus 5 times, and you end up with 75%, which is the original number. And since we couldn't have gained or lost any pineapple juice, we know that this is the right answer. So the correct answer is each cup received 15% of the total capacity of the pitcher. Alright, we're moving on to the next problem. This problem was taken from the 2019 AMC 8, number 8. Gilda has a bag of marbles. She gives 20% of them to her friend Pedro. Then Gilda gives 10% of what is left to another friend, Ebony. Finally, Gilda gives 25% of what is now left in her bag to her brother Jimmy. What percentage of her original bag of marbles does Gilda have left for herself? For those of you who'd like to solve the problem, once again, please pause the video in the next 5 seconds. Alright, I'll begin to solve the problem now. So let's just say, for these types of problems where we don't know how many marbles Gilda has, I like to give a variable for how many marbles she had. Let's say Gilda had X marbles to start with. So it looks like we'll be doing some multiplication because she's giving 20% of them away and then 10% of what is left, not 10% of the original. So we might want to work with fractions instead of percents because we don't want to multiply percents or the decimals which they represent because it gets really confusing, and I don't even think you're supposed to multiply percents because it doesn't make any sense. So what you essentially want to do is convert to fractions. It's an important skill to be able to convert quickly from decimals to fractions to percents because each of them has their own strengths, and to be able to solve any problem quickly, you need to be able to move from this one to that one. So let's just start with this problem. She started with X marbles and she gave 20% of them to Pedro. So 20%, giving 20% away is the same thing as Gilda keeping 20%. Keeping 80% of her marbles. So all we really need to do is figure out what 80% of X is. And 80% is the same thing as 0.8, which is the same thing as 4/5. So we know that 4/5 of X is remaining after she gives 20% to Pedro. Let's just call this P. Now we want to figure out how many are left after she gives to Ebony. So right now she is at 4/5 of X and she's giving 10% away. So once again, giving 10% away is the same thing as keeping 90%. And 90% is equal to 0.9, which is equal to 9/10. So 9/10 times how much she had originally, which is 4/5 X, is equal to, we can cancel her out here, 5, 2, 18 over 25x. Finally, we want to figure out how many she had left after she gave to Jimmy, J, and she had 18 over 25x originally. She gave 25% away, and meaning that she kept 75%. 75% is equal to 0.75, which is equal to 3/4. 3/4 times 18 over 25x is equal to 54 over 100x. I could have simplified here 4 and 18, but I liked to keep it unsimplified because I ended up with such a nice number in 100 right here. Because 100 is on the bottom here, we know that if we just divide 54 by 100, it will be 0.54. It's easy. And since we're asking for a percentage, we're going to inevitably multiply by 100 again after we get the decimal, right? So if we just take the numerator right here, that's just your answer. So noticing these things when you're working with fractions and decimals and stuff really helps you when you're trying to work fast. Say you're in a test and you have 10 problems to do and you need to really pick it up because there's only 8 minutes left. You need to notice these kinds of things so you don't have to convert and convert and convert over and over and over again when you don't have to. So actually, Gilda has 54% of her original marbles. And that is the answer, E, 54. Alright, those are the two problems I went over today. Thank you so much for watching.